What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Trust the Profits YouTube. My name is Colin Sheehan. This is Doubling Down with Colin. This week's question of the day: what is the best horse racing related winter getaway? I live in New England. I live up in Boston, and it snowed today. So I'm already thinking of the sun. Last week we went out to Del Mar. I want to know, what is your best horse racing related winter getaway? Please like and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Colin Sheehan back here on Trust the Profits. I am very glad to introduce royalty this week. I have King George Picks on your Twitter. Be sure to give him a follow. King George, how are we doing today?
Good, fellow Bostonian Colin. Good to be with you. It's great to be with you.
Yes, so you know what I'm talking about, where we got some snow today, a little bit earlier than normal. We didn't get a lot, but it had me thinking about what's my winter getaway. Where do you like to go? Anything horse racing related?
Yeah, my wife is a sun worshiper, and so we got to compromise a lot of times. I love Gulfstream Park, so that's where I like to go.
Nice to think about as the snow is falling today. On Doubling Down here, we like to put together some daily doubles. Here's the latest standings. This is about episode 20, maybe 25. I've stayed in the green the whole time. We're up $25, although last week's $18 double at Santa Anita, at Del Mar hurt me. And our guest brought the guest number down into the red. So you got some work to do there for you, King George. And the reason that I reached out to you was because you had a great single last week, although you were on the wrong double that we were playing, but you had Big Summer in that race, and that was a great call by you. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish in the last leg. So we are going to do better this week. And this week, we are going to Churchill Downs, race 10 and race 11. Race 10 is 1 mile on the dirt, the grade 3 Chiluki. Is that how you pronounce it? It's a race I'm not 100% familiar with.
I was going to ask you, but
yeah, the Chiluki is what we're going with. You guys can make fun of me. It's all good. This is for fillies and mares 3 years old and up. We have a field of 7. Only 2 horses have won at a mile. That's one thing I like to look at first when I'm looking to see horses at the distance, who is good. That's number 1, Coach. And number 7, Liberty MD, who's also 4 for 5 at Churchill Downs, something else that grabbed my attention. Where did you go in race 10?
I went with the 3 and the 4. Center Aisle with 1 for 1 with Gerardo Corrales. And the one thing out of all the other horses, that this one hasn't gone the extra furlong, which is interesting for me to pick that. But I like that he's what I call question. You got the pace in the class in the first 2, and then the closers 4, 6, and 7. And I liked Ice Orchid because I'm a big fan of Tyler Gaffalione on the dirt.
Yeah, we landed on the same 2 horses here. Going back to number 3, Center Aisle. He's 5 for 11 lifetime, 11 starts with 5 wins. He has the latest graded stakes win in the field. That was the grade 3 Sugar Swirl last December at Gulfstream. Paulo Lobo tried this horse 2 times at a grade 1. So to me, that shows this trainer definitely thinks this horse is grade 1 worthy. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you can say that about many other in this field. And so he was one that I just certainly could not leave off. If you throw out those 2 grade 1s, he's putting up, I use Brisnet speed figures, consistent in the 90s. So someone that I certainly want to have on my ticket. But my top pick, as you said, was this number 4 Ice Orchid. Take a look here. He's a 3-year-old, okay? I've been saying this on this show for everyone that's new. The difference in a beginning of a season for a 3-year-old to the end of the season for a 3-year-old is really night and day, right? I mean, the horses mature so much over the course of January and February to October and November. Going back to January and February, that's when this horse had 4 races, 2 seconds, a first, and a 3rd place. Horse goes on the shelf for a little bit, which is probably a little bit concerning, right? But the horse comes back September 18th, and I'm going to play this for you because I'm going to want you to see what I saw in watching the replay. And if you look right here, I'm going to pause it. There's the running line. Slow start, blocked, and bumped. Ice Orchid. This is 2 back, okay? Ice Orchid is number 11. And when I play it here for you, watch this 11, George.
Yes.
Right there, he's jumping. The gates open, and he nearly sits down. Right there, boom. He's all of a sudden, I mean, he's done, right? As a 3-year-old,
Yes.
it should be she. I always get the he's and the she's mixed up. But you're done there. This horse had an incredible finish to get to third place in that race. Comes back second off the layoff and wins an allowance with a 91 speed figure. To me, I'm all over that. And I think that this horse has a great shot with T-Gap up.
Yep.
So 3-4, we both agree in leg one. I'm going to put up the ticker for everybody because I know you can't wait to see what we're going to say for the second leg. And when we look at the second leg, race number 11, this is for Saturday, November 19th, going 1 mile and a quarter, an allowance race for 127,000, 3-year-old and up. It's a field of 9. Where did you land?
I landed on the 6, the 8, and the 9. You got 2 horses in by Todd Pletcher, and one, I think, Steve Asmussen on the 5. But Todd Pletcher has the 6 and the 9. And I'm a big fan of certain jockeys on certain, obviously, surfaces. And Corey Lineri, or however you pronounce it, because some folks pronounce it a different way, on War Campaign is my 6, 8, and 9. The only other thing is tactically, I look at it as the 1 and the 3 going out, and the 6 and the 8. The 8 has the class, I feel, and the 9 I think is a pace horse too. So I try to cover each section, a pace horse and a closer too.
Do you consider yourself a pace handicapper?
No, well, I take 4 things into consideration. I can't say. I look at the drops. Okay, I look at a lot of drops. Then I try to go like a pace scenario with who's closing and who's setting the pace or stock it. But anyways, I look at that tactical section. Then the third one is I look at certain jockeys on certain surfaces. And the last thing which I look at, which is interesting to me, is I don't look quite at the speed figure. I'm like a Philadelphia Phil guy who, I don't know if you know his story, but the final times. I like to see the final time, because you can have a giant speed figure in one race and in another race have a low one, and you come in second with a lower one or whatever. It's just, yeah. So that's
that's great. Good to think. I use the figures more only because I don't like to do as much math. But the only time I really do focus on the time is the 5 and the 5.5 furlong races, because I feel like it's just so much more of a sprint to the wire, and I feel like you can. I've hit some really nice races of just finding a horse. Hey, this horse can do it in 102, and none of them else can do it in 103. I'm going to take a shot on that one, and even if it's a class up or whatever it is, that's kind of an angle that I do. But I don't necessarily look at times as much as I used to. I've landed on the same 8 and 9 for you. The 3, 8, and the 9 have all came out of a race on October 22nd at Keeneland, where number 3, Strong Quality, finished the best in that race of those 3, finished third. But I noticed not only did they all run well in that race, the race prior to that, they all put up some pretty nice speed figures as well. So my hope is that the 3, Strong Quality, the 8, War Campaign, and the 9, Gate Runner, to me, just really stood above the others. The 7, Junior's Gift, the speed figures, I mean, I really don't like to consider myself a speed figure guy, but when you see 70s and 80s and nothing above that, and the other horses have put up 97s, to me, that's just kind of a toss. So 7 was out for me. The last horse that I didn't put on my ticket was the 5, 10 gauge. And the reason that I was interested in the 5 is this is a 1.25 mile race. And a lot of the horses haven't run this distance in a while. So when you're going 1.25 miles, which is one of the, it's the American Classic distance, right? The longest one that we kind of see for the most part. I'm interested in the horses that have at least shown that they can handle it a little bit. The 2 and the 5 were the 2 that have a race over the distance. The 5 ended up being the last off of my ticket. This horse just finally broke its maiden after 9 tries, winning in the slop over Churchill. Has raced at Churchill 5 times, including 3 seconds. But I always reference the complete handicapper by Quinn, which is a book that I read. And that's a book that they always tell you, prefer the horses that have been running against allowance and graded stakes company versus those that are coming out of a maiden race, even though it is a maiden special weight. You got to make a cut, especially because, like you said, I think we're probably using some of the lower odd horses here with the 3, 8, and the 9. So that's where I have gone.
All right, so we're pretty close. 6.
I like that. I like we can both get through the first leg together. We're either going to be in or out after one leg.
Yes.
And then we hopefully can get an 8 and a 9. So my ticket is only $6. Your ticket's only $6. Like I said, this show is for the common man. The daily double is the bet that I think is for all of you new players out there. People are going to tout the pick 4s, the pick 5s. What kind of player are you?
It depends on what I have for funds, but I usually like win, or sometimes I back it up with a little more on a place. But other than that, lately I've been doing honestly a pick 5 or pick 6, but it's very frustrating because I found myself getting 4 or 5 of them every time, and it's like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yes, it's if you want to torture, as if this sport isn't torture enough, you can play a pick 5 and get 4 out of 5. And I stopped playing it because of that exact reason. And it was just, it was always a horse that was beating me that I decided to like cut off my ticket or,
exactly. Exactly. That's what happened the last time. I was going real quick and pick 6, and I went to the last race, and I looked at these 2 horses. I go, I'm going with them, but then I only had a certain amount of work with. It was only $30 more to put that other horse. I didn't do it, and that's the one that went in.
Yeah, so, it probably cost you $3-4 grand, right? As always. So I got to point out that on Mondays I have my Kentucky Derby prep briefing show, which is a quick update. So show the fans your shirt here because it fits perfect. I need to get myself one of those.
I wore this. I mean, I put this on for you.
Talk derby to me. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining me. He is at King George Picks on your Twitter. I'm expecting the King gear next time. I've seen the Halloween costume pictures.
I was honestly going to wear the shirt, but then I said, wait a minute. I've been noticing Colin. I mean, this is the first time I see you outside of speaking.
Yeah.
Outside of texting or
next
whatever.
Time. Next time.
That I would wear that, but I wanted to wear this for you because I saw you've been doing a lot of preps for the Derby.
Yes, Mondays is Derby prep. Tuesday and Wednesday, Matt DeSantis has the Win Place show, and Thursdays we got Doubling Down. Live at 8 o'clock, we are going to Charlestown, El Hombres in the Lounge, trying bourbon. Join us in the chat. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Let's get this ticket home.